I hope that you guys are doing amazing wherever you are. My name is Shikha and I welcome you to my channel, to my YouTube channel. I hope that's where you're listening to me from. If you guys are interested in getting notifications on all my videos, I do a video every single day now on INFJs and their quirks. So if you're interested in getting a notification, just hit that little alarm bell that's right next to my name on my channel, and you'll know exactly when I publish something new. Make sense? All right. In today's video, I wanted to speak to you guys about how I've been watching a lot of Star Trek. So a lot of my opinions and views are kind of influenced by that right now. And I'm watching Star Trek The Next Generation, which is my favorite of all the series. And in that, there was a particular episode where they said that Vulcans, and you guys know Vulcans, I hope. So basically, they're a species who are really, really, really logical and rational, right? But they got to that because they have so much intensity in their emotions. They had to do something to control all that intensity. I feel like INFJs are exactly the same, guys. We have so much intensity in our emotions. We feel everything so much. Everything. I'll watch a advertisement for something random and I'll start crying randomly. I feel everything, right? I'll be walking on the street and I'll feel all the emotions of everyone around me. I know when an animal is in distress around me or whatever's going on, right? So there's a lot of emotions, a lot of feelings, a lot of feels going on all over the place, right? So we feel everything very intensely. But like Vulcans, because we don't want to be that intensely feeling human being, because it's overwhelming, we go into that other mode of being extremely rational and logical and controlled. And all of that because we want to not feel as much, right? And so we do that. Of course, we're not successful, and we'll have a lot of moments where our self-control will peek through and our self-control will break, and we'll be able to see all of our emotions right in our face, right? Happens to me all the time. I'll go days and days and days without feeling anything. I'll be very controlled. I'll have all of this barrier around my heart. I won't cry at random advertisements, or I'll only cry a little bit. And all of a sudden, my self-control will break because perhaps I didn't eat something all day long because I forgot to eat, or I didn't sleep properly, whatever it might be, something happens to break it. And suddenly, all of this, as if like a Pandora's box has been broken through, and all of these feelings just come rushing across into my head, into my head space, into my heart space, into my body, into my soul, and I feel everything for those few moments, right? Or those few hours, whatever it might be. Because I meditate, I'm able to kind of control myself easier. I'm able to come back from that moment of to control back again, over and over again, right? Easier and faster now because I meditate. But in the beginning, when I first discovered I was an INFJ, or just in the beginning when I was just a person, and I had no idea how to control any of this, I used to feel these emotions, these feelings for days on end, months on end sometimes. It was intense the whole time. Right? If you're an INFJ female, then obviously you go through this every month. I go through the menses every month, and I have those moments where so much intense emotion comes up because we're feeling the pain body of all of our female ancestors whenever we go through our period, right? That is just normal, right? What I've started doing is, instead of running away from that pain, instead of running away from that misery, from all of that, I go into it, I lean into it, I try to feel a little bit more than I used to before, right? As Vulcans do, we try to be logical and rational. But because we're human, and we're an INFJ, and we're an empath, highly sensitive, we're introverts, whatever it might be, we feel a lot more than perhaps a lot of other people do. I get so many messages from people every single day saying, when they were young, people used to make fun of them, or used to tell them to grow up, or to stop being such a pansy, or whatever it might be, whatever words they use. Stop feeling so much. Stop being so freaking emotional. That's what my mom used to say to me all the time. Stop being so emotional. Because I would get into these modes where I would cry and cry and cry, right? I learned eventually, obviously, that it was not the way to kind of deal or navigate through these corridors of emotion, right? You can't just let them overtake you or overcome you, because if you do, you're going to go into the spiral of feeling and feeling and feeling. Now what I do is obviously I try to come back to my rational logical side as much as possible. And I like to spend more time in my rational logical side rather than my feeling side. Because not only do I get more stuff done, but I feel better. It is tiring feeling all the time. There are some moments where I'm meditating or where I'm doing when I will try to go into my feeling mode, right? But I want to remind you guys, no matter who you are, no matter what you are, no matter how much you feel or how little you feel, we have to remember two things. First of all, feelings are not bad, right? We've been told over and over again, because we're an INFJ and everyone around us thought we were insane for feeling so much, we're told over and over again, stop being so emotional, stop feeling so much, right? So we sometimes, as a child, associate feelings as being bad and being logical as being good. No, that's not the case, guys. That's not the case. It is uncontrolled feelings that is a problem. When we feel without controlling ourselves, without actually doing anything to come back to normality. When we sit in our room and we are not able to leave our room because we're feeling so much, that kind of uncontrolled manner of feeling is a problem, right? We are human beings who need to live in this real world, so we need to come back into normality, into not feeling all the time. Because you know, as I know, if you're an INFJ, that when you're feeling so much, it's absolutely impossible to go out in the real world. It's absolutely impossible because everyone around us is feeling as well. We're going to interact with all these people who are feeling. We're going to feel all their feelings because we're an empath. It's going to overwhelm us. The second thing about feelings is that feelings explode or get bigger and bigger and bigger the more you ignore them. So as Vulcans, we don't want to obviously all the time ignore our feelings because they're going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. My strategy with feelings always, like I said, is to lean into them. And also to kind of figure out, okay, what am I feeling right now in this moment in time? And I get that intense emotion. All of my feelings are in my heart. I feel it right here. So when my heart starts beating really fast, or I feel that surge of energy in my heart chakra, all of a sudden I know that I'm feeling something. And I'll stop myself, whatever I'm doing, I'll sit down and I'll think to myself, okay, what's going on? Why am I feeling such an intense emotion right now? What happened? Did I see something that triggered it? Did I say something that triggered it? Did someone else say something that triggered it? What exactly is going on to make me feel that way? And then once I have that analysis in place, then I'm able to use that analysis in order to go deeper, right? In order to also dissipate it. Because the more you lean into an emotion, the more you realize what it's all about, the more it dissipates. The triggers of emotions come when we run away from it. When you run away from an emotion, it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger, like a monster that grows inside the closet, and you're afraid to open the door because you don't know how big it's grown. Right? You want to kind of cut it off when they're like a tiny little baby monster, when they just begin. Because at that point, they're tiny and they're easily manipulatable. They're easily controllable. Make sense? So we don't want to let them get to that monstrous place. Because when they do, we explode. I had so many moments when I was a teenager when I would literally be on a temper tantrum mode for hours on end, crying, screaming, throwing things, doing all that stuff because the explosion of emotion had overtaken me. I had controlled. I hadn't let the emotion, come out. And all of a sudden, boom, like an explosion, it kind of dissipated over all of my family members who had to deal with all that toxic spew, right? I don't do that anymore. First of all, I don't do that to other people because they don't deserve it. They don't deserve it. It's not about them. It's about me. It's all about me. It's nothing to do with them. We can blame them, yeah, but it's not the truth. It's all something to do with something that's going on inside of us. And they don't deserve that toxic negativity to be spewed on them. They don't deserve it. So don't do that to them. What I do is when I'm going through these kind of negative, intense, emotional states, is I will stay at home and I will deal with it on my own. I will not spew it on someone else. I will not ruin my relationships with people by putting all of this upon them. They cannot help me in that mode in time. They will not be able to say anything that's going to help me. And all it's going to do is they're going to get all this intense emotion being thrown at them. And perhaps I'll say negative things. I'll say angry things. I'll say words that I don't actually mean and ruin a relationship. Why do that, right? So I don't do that anymore. I try extremely hard. I'm not perfect. I'm not saying that I do this all the time and I'm able to control all the time, but I try as much as possible to come back here into my cave and sit with it, and feel it as much as possible. Make sense? I hope it does. I wanted to make sure that kind of did a video on this also because I'm obsessed with Star Trek right now, obviously, but also because I'm just loving all of the comments that you guys have been sending me. It's so interesting how we all kind of went through the same kind of childhood where everyone used to think that we're insane for feeling so much. And I want to remind you guys that they were just ignorant. They didn't know that we're an INFJ, that we feel, we're feelers, and that's how we process information. So if we kind of completely remove our feeling state from ourselves, then we're basically hiding a part of ourselves that is our strength. Our feeling side is actually our strength, but we think of it as a weakness because everyone else tells us it's a weakness. It's not a weakness. It's only a weakness, as I said, if it's uncontrolled. So if you can control it, it is going to be your absolute amazing strength. And I know it because I've been in that position where I've been able to do that for the past couple of years. I hope this makes sense. I hope you guys, if you have any questions, please do message me anytime. I'm here to answer, and I reply to as many comments as possible, as much as possible. Make sense? Also, again, like I said, if you want to be notified of all my new videos, just click that alarm bell and it'll give you notifications of every single time I post a new video, which is basically every single day. Alright? I'll see you guys in the next video tomorrow, whenever it is. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll talk to you guys next time around. Bye for now.